Greetings to everyone! Mr.Recaps here. Today I'm going to explain a movie called Alvin and the Chipmunks, released in the year 2007. This story tells us about three squirrels named Alvin, Simon, and Theodore who lost their treehouse until they finally moved places and met a writer. This squirrel is not just an ordinary squirrel. A squirrel who can talk and sing, on the other hand, has a gift for entertaining people. Let's keep going with the story. Spoilers ahead. Stay safe and enjoy. The movie starts with three squirrels living in the mountains. They are named Alvin, Simon, and Theodore, in the background by showing the squirrel singing and collecting walnuts in the tree. But unfortunately, the nut comes out again. Then Alvin says he's given up on life, this while jumping at jump in the tree. Suddenly, the tree fell and they didn't know what happened. At that time, they were also carried to Los Angeles. Here, they moved with a man in a white shirt named Dave. He is a songwriter who wanted to demo his song. But before leaving, he said hello to a beautiful woman. She is his neighbor named Claire. Dave, who said he was the same as before, was just looking for work. Then he invited her to have dinner with him tomorrow. Moreover, three squirrels had also strayed into the Christmas tree and still hadn't found this. Turn to Dave now. He is waiting for Lon, who is a manager at one company. After that, Lon came over to Dave. They then entered and exited the elevator together. When they came out, they were greeted with very friendly service, offering lots of food and drinks. They then enter a room and Dave plays his song to Lon, who listens. A moment later, Lon turned off the music. He also stated that Dave's song sounded boring and disgusting. Because the song means the two of them were friends during college, he added that no one would ever want to sing that song. Now Dave had a sad face. He then left the room. When he came out, he asked the waiter for water, but the waiter suddenly became very annoyed because Dave had stolen the cake basket and ran away. On the other hand, the three squirrels were confused about which way to get out. Finally, they were to jump and enter the basket of Dave. Then Dave went to his house and immediately threw the basket containing the cake into the trash can. He now has angry feelings, so he threw all his musical instruments out of the house, while the three squirrels came out of the trash can and found food in the cupboard, when they wanted to eat it. Meanwhile, Dave woke up from his relaxation and also felt there was something strange in his house. He immediately approached the source of the sound because he felt someone was here. When he tried to sit back down, he realized that the bowl had moved by itself. He then tried to open the shelves one by one, looking for the source of the sound. Finally, Devin saw that these three squirrels were there. Suddenly, Alvin attacked him and dropped a jar of food right on top of Dave's head. He later fainted for a while. A moment later, he woke up from his stupor, but he was very surprised to see a squirrel talking human language. Then Squirrel introduced himself. They also knew Dave's name from the letter sent. Dave was even more shocked to hear it, making him catch them and then remove them from his house. That's why the squirrel tried to enter Dave's house. He also closed all the curtains in his house, and he was cleaning his house. He was immediately surprised to hear someone singing. He turned out to be more. He was surprised that the voice came from Chipmunks, until he finally enjoyed every strain of the song the Chipmunks sang. He then brought them in and they finally made an agreement. Dave allowed the Chipmunks to stay as long as they sang a song written by him. The Chipmunks immediately asked where the musical instrument was. Dave then remembered that the instrument was outside. He immediately carried musical instruments into the house. Alvin told him that our parents usually leave their child after a week's birth and then leave. Then they relaxed while Dave didn't sleep that night because he thought about a song that made him write a song for Chipmunks while also preparing equipment for them. Tomorrow morning, when Dave wakes up, it makes him angry because of the noise that comes from Chipmunk. While making bread for breakfast, Simon can't catch the bread until he realizes that there is something wrong with Simon's eyes. Then Dave took the glasses from the toy and gave to Simon to wear. Finally, Dave played his song for Chipmunk to sing. The sound of Chipmunks singing can be heard outside by Claire. Dave is also recoding songs to prepare for Lan's listening test. Now Lon was called by the receptionist to say that Dave was waiting for him. Then Lon went to meet him. Later, Dave showed Chipmunk. He then told them to sing and told Alvin to rap. But the result is that Chipmunk is scared and doesn't talk or sing. So, they were unable to perform. That makes Dave feel very disappointed because Lon thinks he's crazy. On the way in his car with Chipmunk. Chipmunk is scared of him, so they don't talk to him in the car. In Dave's office, his boss and his business partner are waiting for him to make a presentation. But Dave arrives late in the middle of the meeting. Even worse, the presentation is written by Chipmunk Picture. He then arrived at the house. Now Dave is very angry with Chipmunk by saying that he was fired from his job because of them, and he also looked around his very messy house. Meanwhile, Theodore accidentally pressed a phone voice message, which was from Claire, who said at 7:00 p.m. she would be going there for dinner. But at that time, there were only 30 minutes left to prepare here. So, Simon has an idea that Dave needs to buy food and Chipmunk will clean the house. Then Dave comes out and comes back with food. He was immediately surprised because his house was very clean. In fact, he didn't know that Chipmunk hid all the messy things by putting them inside the fridge. After that, Dave also forbade them to join in the dinner. So, now Claire had arrived at Dave's house and dinner was starting. Claire then asked about his work, and they started talking about Dave's work. What's going on? While they are talking, on the other hand, Chipmunk's job is to make Dave happy. Alvin is a smart boy. He knew it, so they needed to prepare something. Simon and Theodore wait to hear what Alvin orders. At night, Alvin turns on the music, Simon turns down the lighting, and Theodore lights a bonfire. That makes Dave accidentally hug Claire. Finally, Dave tells the truth, that he lost his job and life and was surrounded by chipmunks who could speak. Instantly, when Claire heard this, she became sad and angry with Dave. So, she immediately left the house. He was so upset by this incident that he made a cardboard box for the chipmunks and wrote a letter to return them to the forest. A moment later, his intention was cancelled. Instead, he threw the paper that he had written away. While the chipmunks didn't know anything because they had already left Dave's house, it turns out that they were going to Lan's house. The purpose of their coming here is to show Lan their actions performed while singing a song. The next day, Dave got up because of the noise from the TV by Chipmunk. After that, they all went to the supermarket together for their monthly shopping. While they were shopping, suddenly, there was the sound of chipmunks singing from the radio. Then, Dave got a call from Lan, who said to promote the chipmunks and also told Dave to dress the chipmunks. Since then, the Chipmunk song has become more and more famous all over the world and has become the top trending song. Now Dave makes clothes with his own hands. At night, when Dave was asleep, Theodore came to Dave, and he said that he had a bad dream and that he would let me sleep with you. Well, Dave allowed Theodora to sleep beside him. Finally, they slept together. The next morning was Christmas Day. In the morning, the chipmunks were happy to prepare a Christmas tree and they waited for Dave to wake up to give him a gift. Meanwhile, Dave was woken up by the chipmunks, so the chipmunks gave a gift to Dave and they sang a song about Merry Christmas. Then Dave also gave a gift to them, but unfortunately, the chipmunks were not happy to see their gift. Suddenly, Lan's figure came with a Christmas present, which also made the chipmunks very happy, and he also didn't forget to give a gift to Dave. Lan also said that there would be a new CD about faith, and he was given 1 week to write his new song. Next, the day party show starts with his new song from the Chipmunks called Witch Doctor by the Chipmunks. Their performance was applauded by a lot of people. It turned out that at the party, Claire arrived, who congratulated them and apologized for the dinner incident in the past. Later, Lan showed Dave a doll shop that looked like Alvin's and that also spoke Spanish too. And he said he wanted to expand his business. But unfortunately, Dave was not interested in discussing it, so he went away, making him dissatisfied with this. Then Lan met the chipmunks, saying about his moods with the idea of making chipmunk toys. But chipmunks also don't like it. That makes Lan very sad. Back to Dave's house, it was like a child's house. The chipmunks played like kids until Dave hired a maid to clean up his house. He also said that chipmunks cause conflict. And he also said, "Why don't you stay with Lan?" Those words make the chipmunks very sad. At night, when Theodore wanted to apologize, he accidentally found a letter that had been written by Dave before, and then Theodore told his other brothers that they had to live with Lan because Dave wanted to throw them into the forest. Tomorrow they will arrive at Lan's house. The house was very big and they were also surprised when they saw so many toys. There were no rules in the house. They also have fun all the time. Then Lan explained to them that they would be going on excursions. He then also replaced Simon's glasses, which made Simon unable to see very clearly. The tour of Alvin and the Chipmunks began in Los Angeles and continued to San Francisco, Phoenix, and other cities. Not only that, they also did a magazine cover photo shoot for the latest album. They can see their success here is very, very high because of the work they do so much that they fall asleep while filming a cereal commercial. Not only that, during the new song, Chipmunks, they all fell asleep because of exhaustion. Uncle Lon, whose evil heart couldn't make them stop for a while, but I replaced it by bringing coffee with cream to them. This is how they can continue their job. On the other hand, at Dave's house, Dave accidentally sees the picture that Theodore gave him. That makes him think of the Chipmunks. Inquire about concert rehearsals during this time. Lon again complains about their movements, saying that the Chipmunks' movements don't have the energy of this concert. Alvin also says that his music doesn't suit them. Suddenly, Dave calls Lon to inquire about the Chipmunks. Lon then tells Dave about their tour schedule, which makes Dave very surprised. So, Dave also says to Lon that he shouldn't pressure them because they are still small. Alvin suddenly asks Lon, "What is a phone from Dave?" Yes, he is not a good person. He must be lying again to them. Lon is lying again in 1,000 languages to vilify Dave, making the Chipmunks and Dave hate each other. Then Lon goes backstage and tells security if he sees Dave not to approach the Chipmunks. That night came Theodore had a bad dream again. He then woke up Lon and wanted to sleep beside him. But here Theodore got a scolding from Lon, and he also threw him out. In the kitchen, Simon is rummaging through the drawers and looking for his old glasses. At Dave's house, Dave is shaving seeing the news that the Chipmunks are tired and tomorrow they will appear at the Orpheum. In Orpheum, the doctor who was examining the Chipmunks told Lon that they needed a long time to relax because they were still young. But Lon doesn't allow them to rest. Lon wanted them to go to that concert instead. Now they have finally appeared in Indonesia. At that time, Dave came here and wanted to buy tickets. But unfortunately, the tickets were sold out. Dave then entered through the back door, but was barred from entering by security. Luckily, Claire helped him to go in. When Dave entered the concert, Claire gave him a camera. But unfortunately, security dragged him out. That's making Dave scream out to the Chipmunks. Alvin just heard Dave call for Alvin. Immediately, the Chipmunks start throwing mics and taking off their clothes. They also ignored the appearance of their show. A chipmunk chase happened between creation and security, but Lon had caught the Chipmunks and put them locked up in the hamster cage. And Dave also managed to be kept away from the Chipmunks by security. Now Dave drives his car with a sad face. For a while in the car, Dave suddenly heard the voices of the Chipmunks, which shocked him and made him happy. Dave here said to them that he came because he wanted to create a family with them, and they hugged each other. In the final scene, Dave drives the Chipmunks back to his house. Whereas Lon, who said to Chipmunks, he was surprised to see that there were no chipmunks in his cage. But instead with a chipmunk doll, which made him very angry. One more time, Claire, who came to visit Dave's house. She then meets the Chipmunks again. But at that time, Alvin ignored the light, which made Dave very angry and shouted at Alvin. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and give like to help the channel out. See you in the next video. Mr. Recaps says goodbye.